Hello, everyone. Today I get to talk with Yvette LLoyd, and she is with Life Her Podcast. Yvette, how are you today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on the show and just chatting with us today.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course. I want to spread the word about your podcast because it needs to get out there.
Yes.
So share with me, first of all, just share with me a little bit about you and how you got into doing podcasting and what makes you love it.
You know, I actually got into it. My mom, she wanted me to podcast because I had a youth program called Fidei Young Women's Program. And she was like, since you don't do it anymore, why don't you just have a different outlet for young girls or young men to listen to? So I looked it up and I saw a podcast was just like becoming a lot more popular for a lot of people. So I ended up started doing everything. I came up with the name. And my friend helping me like organize it. So I was just into business a lot because I've always owned my business since 2008.
Okay.
So I'm like, let me just talk to other business owners so people know the experience and how it feels and the different emotions we go through. And people just think it's just so easy peasy when they see us on social media, but I'm like, I need the real out here.
The truth about owning a business.
Yes.
And anyone who has owned a business or even maybe watched someone they know really well go through owning a business knows that it's not all easy at all.
No, it's not.
So congratulations on owning your own business since 2008.
Thank you.
You own a daycare.
Yes.
Can you say that? Yes.
Yes.
And so then you wanted to do this podcast to share the ins and outs of business, both probably positive and some negative as well. So share a little bit more about the podcast.
So I've interviewed many individuals. I've been a part of the BET Awards. I've been in different magazines as far as just being a media personality and interviewed Trina, the rapper.
Nice.
I've interviewed Turk from with Lil Wayne.
Okay, that's fun.
And I've interviewed Cora Jakes, TD Jakes' daughter, Ayana Vegazant. I've interviewed a lot of people and also just people internationally in UK, Japan, just different areas. And just hearing the experience of them being business owners themselves, we all go through the same thing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people just don't realize it until we actually see it and we actually know exactly what it is. And so with people hearing that and hearing the advice that they can give, it can elevate them in their business and not make the same mistakes or know how to get through the things that they've been through.
Right, and help people to not feel alone.
Yes.
Correct?
Definitely.
So it's called the Life Her Podcast, correct?
Yes.
Where did you get that name from?
Well, I was going to do it Her Life.
Okay.
And then my friend Olivia, she like, no, make it Life Her. It sounds a lot better. And so I just end up making it that way.
Switch it around.
It's really about our lives, you know? So I'm all about having a healthy mindset, talking positive, speaking positive in like so many ways so that people can understand like you're not alone.
Right.
And you can get through this.
You can make it, yeah.
And it's just about loving yourself. Like, it's just a lot of it is about that and just killing the outside of people.
Especially right now, right? We
God.
we have to kill the outside sometimes. We have to just, stay in our lane, in the things that we do well, in our things that we love doing. So you love podcasting. You podcast, you were telling me, quite a few times a week.
Yes.
How many podcasts do you put out every week?
Girl. I'll podcast like 4 times a week. Sometimes it's 8 times a week. It really depends. But I get bombarded with so many guests, so I try to make the schedules fit for them and also fit for myself. Because if I get someone in UK, the time difference is like totally different. So I had to accommodate their time so that they're able to conduct the interview. Or if I get someone in Nigeria, I got to switch my time. So now I'm pretty flexible with them when it comes to things like that. But I enjoy it. It's like a peace, safe haven, because it's like you have your own space. You can talk and you can say whatever you want.
That's true.
And you're not tied to nothing. So it makes it so much better.
What's one of the biggest things that you feel like you've learned from podcasting, or even from someone that came on the show, or maybe it's even just a piece of wisdom that you have from doing the podcast?
Stepping outside of your comfort zone.
Okay.
I think that is like the biggest thing, because, you know, we live in Akron.
Yeah.
It's a small town.
Yeah.
And even though it's a small town, it's thousands of people that live here that do not know us and we don't know them.
It's true.
So me podcasting and reaching the range that I've reached, it has changed my vision on a life itself, and to see that I'm an introvert. So with me being an introvert, it helps me be able to step outside my comfort zone, meet other people, and do things differently, because we can have a successful business if we continue to step out our comfort zone and be uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable it's a positive thing, but at the same time we think it's negative, but it's amazing. God just directs us in different ways that we couldn't even imagine. Yeah.
Well, and getting rid of that comfort sometimes helps us get rid of our fears too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you podcast right here in downtown Akron as well. Tell us a little bit about that, about your podcast studio.
Yes. So my podcast studio is on High Street. I'm actually right above Musica.
Oh, that's really fun.
So,
maybe. Is it loud?
You know what? It's so crazy. It is extremely loud.
Yeah.
But me and Andy, he's the owner of it. He's respectful with my time, and I'm respectful to his time. He lets me know if he get an odd show, if it's on Mondays. They usually never have anyone on Mondays or Tuesdays, but if someone do come, he would text me hey, I got a show coming at this time, so I could rearrange my schedule around his. But sometimes it depends what type of show they have.
If you can still record or not.
Yeah, sometimes you can't hear the music. Sometimes I have some pretty good editors too. They could block off the noise.
That's awesome.
It depends on what the podcast is about too. Sometimes the noise sound good in the background.
There you go. I love that. I love that. So you're being flexible, which is really cool. And that's such a great location. What a fun location right there in downtown Akron. I love it over there.
Yes.
So. All right. So tell people how they can find your podcast, because they're going to want to find it and listen to you. So let us know how we can find it.
You could subscribe on YouTube.
Okay.
You could watch them as visuals. And you can also listen to all the major platforms such as Apple, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all of the major podcast audio platforms. You could listen to it.
Great.
And you can also listen to it on my website, lifeheardpodcast.com.
Great.
You can listen to it on there as well.
All right. So lifeheardpodcast.com, all the major podcast places, YouTube, we can watch you.
Yes.
We can find you. Can we follow you directly on social media as well?
Yes. Everything is Life Heard Podcast.
Everything is Life Heard Podcast. That's great. It's like streaming across the board. We don't have to guess.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. Let's leave with one more words of inspiration. And because you used to be doing work with youth, let's leave some inspiration for our youth of Akron for today.
Cut out the outside noise, live your dreams, and pay attention to your circle. If your circle isn't elevating and you have to understand that you may have to separate yourself and be around people that are like-minded like you. Mm-hmm. It's not that you are leaving them out or you trying to make them feel bad or anything, but you have to worry about yourself and your life, because that's all you have at the end of the day.
It's really good. Thank you so much, Yvette, for being on the show today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go to Life Her Podcast on all those different things that we mentioned. And listen to Yvette's podcast. It sounds amazing, especially if you're in business or you're interested in business. Sounds like something you don't want to miss. Make sure you stay tuned. We've got more great stuff coming up next.
Yeah.